Now, one of the things that I've been incorporating into my programs recently is this $1 sale challenge where I give students 10 to 15 minutes to go on campus, as strangers, as their friends, as their family, as their suegra, their suegro for $1 by just pitching their idea. And in total, students have made over $300 combined. And in this video, I wanted to share 8 of the biggest lessons that they've learned.
Welcome to Undocumented Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
Into it. Lesson number 1 is that confidence plus clear communication equals sales. All right. So I had a few students say, if you believe in your idea, people will support you. I learned the importance of talking and sharing a well-structured idea. I learned how to pitch my idea, what to include and what to not include. Okay. Biggest takeaway here is that if you are asking people for money, you gotta be confident, or at least you gotta sound confident, right? Nobody's gonna give you money if you're not confident. All right. I've used this as I raise money for Undocumented Startup. I've used this when I pitch to new clients. They don't want to hear me sound skeptical because like that, no one's gonna buy from you. All right. So make sure you have confidence. And the second thing is make sure you can clearly communicate what you do. I had a hard time doing this. Right. And the biggest problem that I've had, even just building a Undocumented Startup, is like by talking to all these experts, people tell you, say this, don't say this, say this, don't say this. What I started doing now is just whatever makes sense to me, whatever makes sense to my clients, that's what I'm going to move forward. Right. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 / takeaway is that action beats perfection. When I tell these students to go on campus, they're giving 10 to 15 minutes. And yes, yes, I do ask them to ask for real money, right? But I don't give them a template. I don't tell them, say this to your client, do this. No, I let them figure it out on their own, right? Because I think a lot of the times we get stuck in this idea that we need to have all the information possible in order to make a decision. But if you just thrown out there and you're asked to figure it out, they tend to do it, right? So some students have said, I've enjoyed this experience. I never imagined myself doing something like this. At first, I didn't know what to say, but once I started talking about my business, things got easier. Another student said, I get really nervous, but I enjoyed the experience, right? So you don't have to have all the answers figured out when you're pitching your company, when you're telling people about what you're doing, but you have to go out there. You have to take the action, all right? Number 3, people want to help if you explain why. So explain why you're raising money, right? This can be seen as raising money. Some students have used this challenge to also get their first clients. Some have been successful on it. Okay, but tell them why you're raising money. Tell them about your idea, right? Some students said it was easier to persuade people to donate by telling them how their money would be used. So if you say something along the lines of, hey, I'll be using this money to create a prototype, I'll be using this money to create my first version, people might be more interested or more inclined in supporting you. 120 undocumented students, 6 different states, 1 day to launch your business. We started Undocumented Startup in California, but we knew that our impact had to go in more than one state. So introducing the Undocumented Startup Tour, we are bringing our flagship entrepreneurship bootcamp to 6 different states for the next few months.
$26 in investment.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we also got 1 client.
Like last minute, I send messages to the people I know, and I just got sent 60.
Ooh. There's only 120 spots, so apply now at www.undocumented.com/tour. Again, www.undocumented.com/tour. And I'll see you on the other side. Lesson number 4 is that sales is a social thing, right? So being social and approachable opens doors. If you don't have a smile on your face, you go all groggy, people are not going to want to listen to you because your facial expression. So when you go pitch somebody, be happy. People mention being social helps me meet new people. I learned how to use my network to pitch my idea. It's very easy to talk to people as long as you're friendly. It feels awkward at first, but you just have to smile. I sold my art for $20 just by focusing on selling and showing people what I do, right? So sales is a social thing. If you're trying to get $1, it's a social thing. Show people your product. All right. Lesson number 5 is that rejection is part of the process. So even though we have had some students make money, some students have not been successful. And what some of the things that they realize is that not everyone will say yes. Rejection often comes with feedback. So if you get rejected, ask why. Why don't you want to give me $1? What can be improved with my business page? right? Answer some of the questions that they may have, right? And the biggest thing outside of this is that rejection is not personal and you can still win even if you don't make money, right? Some of the students have mentioned that through these rejections, they get asked a multitude of questions. And through those questions, they're able to improve their pitch. Lesson number 6 is that your environment will affect your success. This one's important on sales because, for example, when you're asking somebody for $1, the timing is important. The audience is important. Location matters, right? Knowing where and when to pitch makes a difference, right? So some of these students go on campus. Some of these students reach out to their mentors that know about them, that want them to start a business. Some of these students reach out to their family members that know they'll support them. So it really depends on who you're really targeting, right? So make sure that you have that on lock. So if you're focusing on college students, go where the most college students are. If you're focusing on people that buy food, go over there, right? So the environment really will affect your success. And really, this applies to selling your business idea even long term, right? When I sit down and I write a proposal, when I talk to people, I know who I'm going to be talking to now that I have a year of experience reaching out to people. And I understand that if I reach out to somebody that is not my ideal avatar, my ideal customer, the conversation is going to go south. So it does take some time, but understanding where and when to go is going to make all the difference. Lesson number 7, that business is all about relationships. People need to trust you before they buy. Building long-term relationships matters more than quick wins. So some students said, for my personal business, I realized that building relationships with my clientele mattered the most. So even though some students didn't make any money, some of them were able to develop a list of potential clients in the future. So they build a waiting list that they can then reach out to once their idea or their business is actually live. So that's important as well, right? Another thing, I needed to gain their trust for them to believe I could help them achieve their financial goals, right? So trust is an important thing, right? How do you showcase trust? Build a website, showcase results of other people that you've helped, right? In my website, I include a lot of testimonials. I'm starting to include success stories. Eventually, we'll include a lot more things that are success stories from the community that we've helped. And it's really all about relationships. It's really about trust. It's really about how people really perceive the work that you are currently doing. Right? And then the last lesson is that entrepreneurship is a mindset. All right. So there are fast, creative ways to make money. Seeing yourself as a business owner changes how you show up. If you see yourself as a student, part of a project, you might have a certain way. If you see yourself as a CEO, it's going to be noticeable when you pitch your idea. Feedback and new ideas help you grow. So some students said that this challenge opened their mind to the world of business. They also said that every opinion I received has something positive to offer and that helped them grow, right? So it's really all about a mindset. It's really about shifting what rejection really means when somebody tells you no, and then taking everything together for your next pitch, for your next client, right? So again, even if you're not in my programs, even if you just came across my channel, I recommend that if you have a business idea, start reaching out to people, start pitching this, because once you get that first dollar, not only is it going to give you confidence, but it's also might lead to a new client, or it might lead to the next business idea. So I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, you leave a comment down below. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, give it a little star and follow the podcast. All right. And remember, be motivated and stay motivated, baby. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Sooner than you think. All right. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Undocumented Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.